All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going super meta. We're diving into a fan petition about Rick and Morty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's not just any petition.
Okay.
This one wants to use AI to basically create like infinite Rick and Morty adventures.
Oh, really? I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this petition.
Well, it's this whole concept they're calling multiversal creativity. The fans are arguing that like if they use AI, they can make way more Rick and Morty stories.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true that a team of writers can only produce so much content.
Right, exactly. And they even think that AI could, capture like all the different weird what ifs and stuff that the show's known for.
So essentially, tapping into the infinite possibilities of the multiverse, but in a practical way.
Exactly, but how exactly? Like, what's the tech behind this?
Well, I mean, imagine like text generators writing dialogue, right? Like crazy Rick dialogue that you could never come up with.
Oh,
Then you could have AI creating the backgrounds, these, bizarre alien landscapes.
wow.
Maybe even animating the whole thing.
So, wait. So it's not like we'd be watching like a regular episode of Rick and Morty?
Oh, no.
It'd be more like fans making their own little episodes.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's all about, they call it like open source storytelling.
Open source.
Yeah, like think of open source software. Anyone can contribute, right? And in this case, fans could use these AI tools to add to like one giant shared Rick and Morty multiverse.
Okay, but wouldn't that just be total chaos, though?
Yeah.
A million different Rick Morty running around doing their own thing.
Right. Well, the petition actually addresses that. They suggest that the creators would build and control the main AI tool.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like some random AI.
Right.
It would be like an official Rick and Morty AI episode generator, keeping things at least a little bit on brand.
So controlled chaos.
Exactly, controlled chaos. But I mean, even then,
Yeah.
How would that even work? Can an AI actually write a Rick and Morty episode that's good?
Right. Like, can a machine really understand that kind of humor?
That's the big question. I mean, AI is getting good at mimicking writing styles, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Rick and Morty, that's like a whole other level. It makes you wonder, like, what really makes something Rick and Morty?
Yeah, it's not just like random sci-fi stuff.
Exactly. And can AI capture that? That's the challenge.
Right. And that's just like the creative side, right? Then there's the whole legal side of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, who owns what? How do the creators make money? Does it even work?
Yeah, there are a ton of questions there.
And didn't the petition have something about, like, fans actually paying to use the AI?
They did. It's actually a clever idea. They call it revenue reimagined.
Okay.
And they say, imagine millions of fans paying a small fee
Right.
to access this like official AI generator. It'd be a huge revenue stream.
Oh, wow.
They even use one of Rick's catchphrases. They say like $2 times everyone equals infinite ROI.
Wow. Appealing to his inner Rick there.
Exactly. But is it feasible? Right. Like, would enough fans actually pay?
And would it even be legal? That's a lot of questions.
Yeah, it really makes you think about like the current fan funding landscape,
Yeah.
right? Like Patreon and all that.
Right, right.
It's almost taking that to like the extreme.
Okay.
And then there's this whole open source thing. It's one thing for software, but how does that even work for storytelling?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get the analogy,
Right.
but stories aren't code.
That's where things get really interesting, right? It challenges how we think about creative ownership. Like, who owns the story?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're saying, hey, let's blow up Hollywood and do something totally new.
Exactly. And they think Rick and Morty is the perfect franchise for it.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Well, because it's already so chaotic and meta and kind of out there.
That's true.
It already breaks the rules.
Yeah, it's like the perfect test case.
Exactly. So, yeah, this petition is bold, maybe even a little crazy.
A little bit.
But it definitely makes you think.
For sure, for sure. So let's dive deeper into the arguments and see if this open source multiverse actually has any legs to stand on.
You know, one thing that really struck me about this petition is how they're not just saying, let AI run wild.
Right, right.
They actually propose a system for this whole open source multiverse thing.
Yeah, it's not just a total free-for-all.
Exactly. And a big part of that is using an officially sanctioned AI tool.
Oh, okay. So like a tool made by the creators themselves.
Exactly. That way, they could kind of set the boundaries and keep things somewhat on brand, Rick and Morty-ish.
Right, so it's not like a million weird Ricks popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they even have this phrase in the petition, build the tool, control the chaos.
Oh, I like that. So it's like guiding the fans' creativity, not just letting it go completely off the rails.
Exactly. But it does raise some questions, like how much control is too much?
Right. Like, is it still open source, if the creators are setting all the rules.
That's a good point. And would it stifle the creativity within the fandom?
Yeah, I mean, part of what makes Rick and Morty so great is that it's always pushing boundaries.
Absolutely. Would an official AI tool kind of limit that?
The petition tries to address this by saying the tool would be more like a guide, not a dictator.
Okay, so it's there to help, but fans can still go their own way.
That's the idea. It's all about striking that balance between the wild, crazy multiverse and, keeping things somewhat recognizable as Rick and Morty.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But let's be real, there's a huge elephant in the room here.
Oh, absolutely.
The legal side of it.
Right. I mean, they're basically saying, let's make Rick and Morty open source.
Exactly. What does that even mean legally?
It's a huge question. I mean, it really challenges how we think about copyright and all that.
Like, who owns Rick? Who owns Morty? Can anyone just make merch now?
The petition actually argues that by releasing the copyrights and trademarks in a controlled way, everyone benefits.
Oh, okay, so it's not just a free-for-all.
Right, it's more nuanced than that. They think the creators would still retain some control,
Right.
but everyone gets a piece of the pie, so to speak.
So fans could legally make their own stuff, but the creators still get something out of it. Exactly. They'd still profit from the whole thing.
It's almost like they're proposing a new kind of Creative Commons, but just for Rick and Morty.
That's a great way to put it. A system where the intellectual property is shared but with safeguards in place.
That's interesting. But it's definitely a bold vision.
It is, and whether or not it's legally feasible is a whole other question.
Hey, love her.
But it really makes you think about how fan cultures is pushing the boundaries of, these existing legal systems.
It really does. Another thing that strikes me about this petition is the passion behind it.
Oh, yeah.
These aren't just casual fans complaining. They're putting forward a whole plan.
Right. It's like a manifesto for a new kind of fandom.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, we love this show so much, we want to help build it.
And that speaks to a larger trend we're seeing, right? Like, fans want to be more involved.
Right. They're not just passive viewers anymore.
Exactly. They want to be part of the story.
And this petition is like the ultimate expression of that.
Yeah. Like, let's give fans the tools to create their own adventures.
Okay, but that brings up some other questions, too.
Like what?
Well, like, even with guidelines, how do you guarantee quality?
That's true. Some fan-made stuff might be amazing.
Yeah.
And some, well, not so much.
And what about accessibility? They talk about paying for this AI tool.
Right.
But what about fans who can't afford that?
That's a great point. And honestly, the petition doesn't really address that.
That's a big oversight.
It is. If they want this multiverse to be truly open, they have to think about everyone.
Yeah, it can't just be for the fans who can afford to pay.
Exactly. It has to be for all the Ricks and Mortys out there.
It's like this whole thing is about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Give fans enough freedom so it's fun.
Right.
But enough rules so it doesn't become a total mess.
It really is, and it's hard to say if it would even work.
Yeah, it's a big experiment.
But just the fact that fans are even thinking about this,
Right.
it shows how much things are changing.
Yeah. It's like a whole new era of fandom or something.
Right.
Fans aren't just watching anymore.
You want to be involved.
Exactly. They want to create.
It's like they're saying, we love Rick and Morty so much, we want to help make it.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, could this work for other shows too?
Oh, totally. I mean, imagine this for Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Or Marvel or Harry Potter.
Fans making their own Jedi or superheroes.
Right. It would be like one giant story.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. Would it be good? Who knows? But it would be different.
For sure. And it would totally change what it means to be a fan.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't just be about watching.
You'd be creating, too.
Exactly. And that makes me think about the AI even more.
Oh, how so?
Well, we talked about it making the stories.
Right.
But could it also help organize everything?
Oh, that's interesting. Like filter out the good stuff from the bad.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just a million random episodes.
It would be like a giant recommendation engine for the multiverse.
Right. Only the best, weirdest stuff bubbles up to the top.
That's actually a really cool idea.
It is. So it's not just AI making stuff, it's helping fans find the good stuff too.
Exactly. AI for creation and curation.
Wow, this petition is really making us think.
It is. It's like a whole new ecosystem for fandom.
Powered by AI and like a million crazy fans.
And who knows, maybe this could change Hollywood.
Yeah. Maybe studios will start thinking differently about how they work with fans.
And how they tell stories in general.
So for everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway from all this Rick and Morty craziness?
I think it's the future of entertainment. It's unpredictable.
Definitely.
Fans want more power, and technology, especially AI, is giving it to them.
So this petition, even if it goes nowhere,
Right.
it's a sign of what's coming.
Yeah, like a preview of the future of fandom.
Where fans and creators work together.
And stories become something we all build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one last question to leave you with.
Okay, shoot.
Could this open source AI-powered fandom, could it become the norm for everything?
Wow, that's a big question.
It is. What would the world look like if fans could create alongside their favorite creators?
That's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
We'll catch you next time.